episode 57, this and that and what else. This one, I've got some snippets from Serbia and the UK, quite a lot from UK, and then some Ukraine, and there's some interesting stuff there. The conflict in Ukraine is a world war, where the West is fighting against Russia with the help of Ukrainian soldiers, Serbian President Alexander Vučić said on Wednesday. Now that is, as far as I'm concerned, the real truth. Serbia cancels EuroPride event. Serbia has decided to cancel or postpone a EuroPride event that was due to take place in the Balkan country's capital Belgrade in mid-September. The President explained that the LGBT festival, which is held in different European cities every year and includes a pride parade, cannot go ahead due to the fears of violence. And I have a funny feeling the violence will be coming from the population. From some articles that I have seen, it seems like, especially in that Eastern Bloc countries, they've reached their limit of how much they're going to take from this gender shit. It's just the same. Serbia pulls out from hosting EuroPride, a pan-continent LGBT parade. Good for Serbia. And then we have this. Joseph Borrell. We have a deal. Under the EU-facilitated dialogue, Serbia agreed to abolish entry-exit documents for Kosovo ID holders, and Kosovo agreed not to introduce them for Serbian ID holders. Kosovo Serbs, as well as all other citizens, will be able to travel freely between Kosovo and Serbia using their ID cards. The EU just received guarantees from Prime Minister Kurti to this end. This is a European solution. We congratulate both leaders on this decision and their leadership. And that was a tweet from Borrell. But apparently there is serious issues simmering in the background between Kosovo and Serbia. 7 nations ready to revoke the recognition of Kosovo. Belgrade has managed to convince 7 nations to withdraw their recognition of Kosovo, Serbian President Alexander Vučić said while addressing his nation. At this moment in my drawer and in my drawer of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, there are 7 documents confirming Kosovo's de-recognition, he said while not specifically naming the countries. Well, it seems to me the heat and the pressure is building up there. That whole Kosovo story was a NATO-driven fuck-up. And Kosovo is actually a province of Serbia. But the EU needed that independent state so that they can put pressure on Serbia. And then there's this news from the Solomon Islands. Solomon Islands to ban foreign journalists who are not respectful. PM office says journalists cannot operate in the Pacific as they do in other countries, accusing Australia's ABC of racial profiling in China coverage. Yeah. Everywhere, all over the world, there are small countries that all of a sudden have the guts to stand up and say, stop. And then we have this from Syria. Breaking, the Syrian oil ministry says the US are stealing an average of 66,000 barrels of oil per day in Syria, about 80% of its national oil production. What the fuck is that? And this is what they do. And this is what Russia is busy mustering the support to stop them doing these things. And the US better go and sit down and think properly of what their position will be in the New World Order. And that New World Order I'm talking about got fuck all to do with the WEF. Not only the oil and gas, but also wheat and cotton and other grains and beetroot that Syria turns into sugar, and all the materials and natural resources in Syria and America and NATO are doing an economic siege, and we are suffering from severe hunger and we do not have medicines. This is what the West is doing, but their time is running out. Regular reports from the ground have been backed by footage and photographs appearing to show large convoys of US tankers leaving the country. They are also accused of stealing wheat, with tons of grain taken by the occupying forces, leaving many Syrians hunger. Sources close to the SDF have confirmed that Syria's natural resources are being plundered by the US, but said that journalists are too afraid to speak out. Guys, this must really stop. This must stop. The US is an international terrorist organization. That is what they have become. Now we're in the UK. So Liz Truss said men can't be women, and she's a little wary of Emmanuel Macron, and all of the worst people are raging. Great stuff. Give her the keys to number 10 on Monday. Okay, she got the keys. Let's see what she's going to do with those keys. The leading Conservative Party candidate to become Great Britain's next Prime Minister intends to classify China as a threat to national security if she assumes the post. And I have said it in other Skidmarks. This Liz Truss is going to get the UK blown out of the water. UK to move warplanes to civilian airports. Britain is preparing to station combat aircraft in civilian airports for the first time since World War II in response to the Ukraine conflict. The dispersing of planes across the country will help the Royal Air Force Rapid Response Unit survive attacks on their bases. According to the report, a trial next month will have a Eurofighter Typhoon and F-35 jet fighters based in Norfolk, Lincolnshire and Scotland, scattered in small groups and based discreetly in several regional airports. Well, let's see how that plan works out. The heads of 6 largest pub chains in the UK have asked government to protect the beer business from collapse in winter of 2023. 7 out of 10 British pubs could close permanently due to a triple increase in electricity bill. Guys, this is sad news. It's really sad news. But the thing that disturbs me the most and makes me very angry is that this disaster is man-made. And the kitchen where they cooked up this shit is in Brussels. And the main cook there is that Ursula von der Crazy. But the European citizens, they are sleepwalking. They should have seen this shit coming. And this is sad. When did we allow this to happen? MPs on an £84,000 a year plus benefits and expenses, one of which is subsidized meals in Parliament. Really, now is the time to start asking questions. This dinner lady says she cries going into work because she has to deny children school lunches. And apparently it's because those kids cannot afford to pay for those lunches. But this is the UK. But look at that fucking obscene salary of an MP. What the fuck has gone wrong in the world? Same shit here in South Africa. They get these astronomical salaries. They contribute zero to fuck all to the economy or to the country. But they get these massive salaries. Liz Truss, candidate to be Prime Minister of Britain, said that Zelensky will be the first head of a foreign state whom she will call if she wins. She must go and visit him so that the Zelensky curse can sit on her. Boris was hit by that curse, and not the only one. There's a number of leaders that visited Kiev that are done today. Putin causes a whole lot more trouble. Cost of fixing potholes soars to unprecedented levels as the majority of UK's bitumen was previously imported from Russia. And I just laugh. Thank you very much for being so brilliant to fuck your own economy up. The British is amazing. Life in blackout Britain. Experts warn energy rationing this winter could see people told not to cook until after 8 p.m, pubs close at 9 p.m, 3-day-a-week school, care homes cancel outings for residents and swimming pools left unheated. And Britain is solid on the road to the Stone Age. 6 in 10 British factories at risk of going under as bills soar. This is actually a tragedy. But what you must never forget, this is man-made, self-inflicted shit. The political elite has decided Britain does not need an industry. And more, people will be banned from using washing machines, dishwashers and ovens from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pubs will have to turn off their lights at 2100 and last orders will be taken at 2030. Guys, this is crazy. Zelensky as an interlocutor in negotiations is not credible to the Russian Federation because he is inexperienced, dependent on other countries and subject to the influence of psychotropics. And who said that? Who else? Dmitry Medvedev. The vampire systems the US is sending to Ukraine turn pickups into missile launchers. Same shit that ISIS has been doing. And then, I have spoken about this previously. You are beautiful. Here are some actual orcs. This is the Ukrainian army that the Western taxpayers are so happily financing. This shit in the Ukraine. I don't understand why the West is financing it. Kiev does not know exactly where the US arms that arrive in the country are. And I have handled it previously. This is an ongoing thing. And a hell of a lot of this shoulder launch missiles and shit is going to land in the hands of terrorists. Sean O'Donnell stated the need for an audit of arms transfers and stressed that the Pentagon will get involved as soon as it has the opportunity to do so. The Pentagon is expected to track arms supplies from shipments from the US to distribution to military units. But it's not happening. Ukraine's best men are dying. This leaves women and children open to Epstein traffickers as fathers vanish. Ukraine is a Christian country. All the woke stuff can now be forced on whatever people are left. Money laundering galore. Regime never wants this war to end. This is really, really sad. But the West financed this shit. Ukraine has been ground zero for international human trafficking for decades, especially to the Middle East and Asia. The war will see a 10-time increase of the crime. Not a 10-time, sorry, 100-time increase. Zelensky promises to recapture Donbass. President Vladimir Zelensky said in his daily evening address on Sunday that Ukraine will recapture Donbass, which is now almost fully seized by a Russian force. This guy must lay off the white stuff. And then we get to the warafak. And this warafak is something that it doesn't make me smile. It actually makes me swear. Look at this. And she looks very happy with her little garden gnome. And there's a heap of the white stuff and a bigger heap of dollars. Ursula von der Crazy's pet. And on that note, please like, subscribe and share the thing. Have a great evening.